Go ahead and call the Education Committee to order, please. We do have a set of minutes for August the 11th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns?
Chris said he was here last time, and it says he wasn't.
He
Do you want to make a
didn't
correction?
tell you when he was here though, did he? Look at the end of the minutes.
Where they at?
Didn't it say he came in about the time we quit? It doesn't. You did that at one meeting. Anyway, all right, you need to.
Okay, just forget it. Let's
No,
just
no, no,
clean the
no.
slate. Let's
You
just go.
want the minutes amended.
Yeah.
The minutes will be amended to add the father of the professional football receiver.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right. Before we get into any business, is there anybody that would, I left this out, is there anybody that wants to speak about something before we get started? Okay. All right. Miss Lisa or whoever, who's going?
I have some
Mayfield?
information for you if you want to take one and pass around. That first document is our current school enrollment. So that tells you where we're at each individual school. Overall, our enrollment currently, and this is after the first 20 days of school, is up from end of the year last year by 504 students. And then you have what our current school capacity. One thing about that sheet that sometimes is confusing on there is a core capacity and a classroom capacity listed for each building. The difference in those is determined by the school. So in elementary, your K2 numbers they have a different ratio than 3-5, and then high school and middle schools are different. In addition, you also have the number of bathrooms and the seating capacity of the cafeterias. But for all practical purposes, we tend to use the number that is higher when it comes up. A lot of those on the newer buildings are listed as the same number, but that tells you where we're at building-wise, where our students are at, and which schools. That second document is the last construction report for West Wilson Middle School. You can see it's got the rain delays and the estimated time to finish. There was a meeting, Jason Morris gave a tour to some of the board members last night that wanted to look at the building. He told them apparently that he thought it would be spring break in June. That's still to be determined though. Nothing is set in stone. One other thing that I wanted to mention to you guys, we have done a FEMA appeal in regards to the Stoner Creek Elementary project. That appeal was submitted by Ms. Lisa's office actually on August 16th. So we haven't heard anything back yet, but when we do, I'm sure Mr. Luttrell will communicate that as well. And we are starting a Mount Juliet Middle School, a small renovation project that will be coming. We'll be starting next week actually. So, any questions?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
About the FEMA appeal, are they not paying as much as you think? This
Correct.
How much, what's the difference?
Well, what they obligated towards Stoner Creek was like $260-some thousand. A lot of the discrepancy comes in on the insurance and how that was paid out. It was a lump sum for both schools and.
Right, they took both schools and gave us a settlement. And then they took, divided that and only gave us a partial amount for Stoner Creek based on if we were to renovate it, basically not tear it down. But then the fire marshal came in and said it had to be torn down, and also with new building specs, it was going to increase that amount. So we're trying to get all that information together, submit that to them, and appeal the amount that they said for Stoner Creek.
How much difference is it in the money?
It's quite a bit. I'm not sure.
It's quite a bit. Is that 10 million or 5 million or 50 million a month?
I think it's about $8 to $9 million. Now, if we'll get that, we don't know, but we're trying our best to appeal it and see. what comes back from that.
Does it go to FEMA Region 4 and?
This
Atlanta?
actually goes, the appeal goes to TEMA. So it's having to go through Tennessee and not the federal for the appeal.
Thank you.
Budget amendment, I'll pass those out. First one is, we had increased design fees. If you recall, a couple of months ago, we moved money from our fund balance over to, general fund to pay for the design fees for LaGuardo Elementary. Because that came back, we went with, revised amount with the two addendums, that increased the design fee cost, so we're moving $850,000 over from our designated fund balance to pay for that. The second one actually just moves that money that we're moving over from 141 to 177, which is our, construction capital projects fund for those fees. The third one, when we hired our new transportation supervisor, that budget was increased to pay for his salary. So at the time we did the budget, that was not in it, so we're increasing that, taking out a bus driver line item. The next one, we just have equipment purchases. Basically, we didn't have a line item for maintenance equipment. We have purchased some equipment, so we need to put that in the correct line item. So adding that budget amendment. The next one, our insurance proceeds, when we get those monies coming in, we're showing that money coming and what it actually is going out for to pay those costs. And then the last one is our child nutrition is wanting to take from their fund balance money to purchase vehicles. I think there's 3 vans, maintenance vans that need to be bought, and also 2 vans for them to go back and forth between schools for the cafeteria, those that are working at different locations. So that's to pay for that. Any questions?
So the workers go from one school to the other?
The workers actually, we have,
In these 3
because we don't
vans.
have enough people, we don't have every position filled. Some of our central office staff are having to go and cover at the cafeterias. So that's to go back and forth, or any other thing that they need to do for child nutrition.
They take
cafeteria
supplies,
workers.
oftentimes, if one school's short on shredded cheese, for example, they will box up several cases and take it from this school to that school, or sometimes they get deliveries to the ATC as a central location, and then they disperse it from there.
And they've used cars to do that. The cars are looking probably 15 years old now, and so they're just needing to replace those vehicles.
Okay. The increase in design fees, is that something that we saw coming? Well, I thought that we had the design.
Well, we are
Yeah.
paying for the design fees out of our money, not coming out of from the county. We haven't asked for that. We've wanted to pay that up front. But because the addendums were added, his fee is based as a percentage of that cost for the contractor. So because those addendums were added, that fee went up too, that we have to pay.
That was my question too, so it never was in the original amount for the school, for the design fee?
How much was the total design fee then?
It was
If it's
based-
going up by 850,000?
It was based on the bid. Our bid went, I think, from 49 to 51 million on that school. I don't have my figures right in front of me, but
Yeah, I thought it was higher than that. Wasn't, because I think the bonds we pulled were 58.
Yeah, I think.
that right?
it might
The
have been.
bond was, but that also
Right,
purchased
yeah.
the land, the 2 pieces of land,
We already own the land.
but that, it came out of that bond money. Central Pike and Double Log Cabin.
I thought we already bonded that out and I thought we already
It
did
came out of
that.
that 59, that was,
Oh, okay.
so
Right.
the actual school that brought that down, the bond money, to like 54.
Gotcha,
For the
okay.
school.
Okay, all right.
I think
So
part of
what's-
the design fee too was civil site was not included
That's,
in the original
that's correct.
dollar
I didn't
figure, so
remember.
the architectural fee was here. The civil site was not included, and that's, I think that's part of it.
Right.
What does that bring fund balance down for you? So what, if, you know, with this 850,000 coming out, what's your fund balance gonna be?
Our, unassigned fund balance is
Mhm.
about 28 million.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any other questions or concerns? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Anything else?
Board's gonna vote on this tonight.
The board will vote on this budget amendment tonight. We're
I got
having
one.
our meeting, so.
And it might be just because I hadn't been here and y'all picked the weakest link or whatever, but how come I can't get a bus on my road? My neighbors are killing me. And I understand, I know the
You mean
reason
it's
why
late or not showing up?
it don't show up. There was one kid sitting out there at 9 o'clock and I took him to school, goes to Lebanon High School, so I took him to school, but
We're right back dealing with the same situation that we've had last year as far as not having enough bus drivers. We have been running routes late, so I might drive Tucker's and then I'll drive one Lebanon route and then maybe go pick up some more Lebanon kids. We've done that in the past across the county, or currently doing that.
right.
We've gotten to some points, I know there was one day last week or the week before, we had 24 drivers out on one day. Saying when that happens, when we already don't have subs, it creates a huge issue. We even have to down routes, or we're running them an hour and a half late. Like Mr. Luttrell has said, I want every kid to at least have a chance to get to school. So the bus, if I start school at 8:30, that bus might not have even made it back to pick up that kid by then.
Right.
There's a good possibility. Now, they're doing the robocalls to try to let parents know if the bus is gonna be delayed or not. But if it's a specific problem, if you will shoot me an email, I'll investigate it for the parent.
No, as Dave was just wondering, that Dave thought it was just our area, but I come down Bluebird out towards Peyton, and they were still standing on the road too at 8:45.
I know Tucker's Crossroads, I believe, had down routes this week because we have exhausted all the doubles that we could do.
Y'all hired any retired fire chiefs or anything for bus drivers?
That'd be some of your smartest people. But what you don't wanna do is hire a police officer, because, I mean, they be at the donut shop all morning.
Amen, bro.
They'll be at the donut shop, they'll never do it. But I appreciate it.
Was there any specific reason why 24 people would be out at one time?
Well, 12 of them were called out the day before, the day of, 12 more called out, and it was the same day it was extremely hot,
Okay.
so.
So was that,
Okay.
that was my question.
That was
That
unusual.
was, if that was just bad luck, or are we looking at some other situation going on?
I think it was a combination of the
Organized.
heat, and I'll be honest, some people thought we should close school or get out early.
For heat?
Yes,
We do have air conditioning.
I know.
Well, I got one more, so
Not on buses,
Yeah,
and so it is a little sticky until the bus gets moving with all the windows open. But, I mean, we will still have, we got 10 drivers call out, that hurts us when we don't even have every seat filled to start with.
right. So that brings me to my next question, is it paid?
We up the pay. The pay's actually, Miss Baxley and I were talking earlier today, but some of the bus drivers make more than the teachers.
What is the pay?
Per hour.
It starts out at 21 something
Goes
per
to
hour.
31 something,
And it's full-time benefits now.
How does it go up
Yeah.
to 31? I mean,
based
is,
on the number of years
that
driving
they drove,
experience.
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Just driving experience or bus experience? Or both.
What class is that? Is that an endorsement or CDL
It's-
plus an
It's
endorsement?
passenger and, school bus endorsement, Class B, yeah.
Any other questions or concerns from anyone in the room? One other motion?
Motion
Mr.
adjourned.
Journey.
Thank you. Y'all have a good evening.